Welcome back to Valuable Coins, your go-to channel for in-depth insights on the world's most precious and collectible coins. Today, we're diving deep into all of the most fascinating and valuable pieces in United States numismatics, the extraordinary 1943 Lincoln Wheat Steel 1-cent coins. These are not just any pennies. They carry stories of wartime America, incredible rarity, and collectible appeal that send their auction prices soaring into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. The first coin we're examining is the 1943 large-date Lincoln Wheat Steel 1-cent with the S mint mark. A marvel of American coinage history that combines rarity, wartime ingenuity, and a fascinating era that has made it highly desirable among collectors and investors alike. To truly appreciate the significance of this coin, we need to rewind to the early 1940s during World War II, when the United States was facing critical shortages of copper, a key component in pennies. Copper was desperately needed for the war effort, especially for making ammunition and other military equipment. In response to this shortage, the U.S. Mint took an extraordinary step in 1943. It switched the composition of the 1-cent coin from copper to steel, coated with zinc to prevent rust. This bold change resulted in what is commonly called the steel cent, and it became one of the most distinctive and collectible issues in the history of American coinage. Unlike the traditional copper penny, the 1943 steel cents are silvery gray in appearance, a striking contrast to the familiar warm, reddish-brown of the copper Lincoln cent. The steel cent was also slightly magnetic, making it unique in the world of U.S. pennies. Now, let's discuss the large date variety. During this era, Lincoln steel cents were produced with two distinct date styles, the large date and the small date. The large date, as the name suggests, features a more prominent, bolder 9 and 4 in the year 1943, whereas the small date variety has a thinner, less pronounced style. This subtle but important distinction influences value significantly, with the large date variety being more prized by collectors. Adding to the intrigue of the coin we're discussing today is the damage error on the S mint mark. Mint mark damage or doubling is a classic type of mint error that occurs when the die that strikes the coin is flawed or damaged. This creates a unique appearance on the coin, often a distorted or doubled mint mark, which can greatly increase collector interest and rarity. In the case of the 1943 large-date S steel cent, damage to the mint mark gives the coin a distinct and eye-catching look that sets it apart from ordinary examples. For collectors, this kind of anomaly is like owning a piece of numismatic history that tells a story about the production process at the San Francisco Mint during a critical time in U.S. history. What makes this coin even more fascinating is its circulated dirty condition. While many rare coins gain value primarily when in pristine, uncirculated grades, circulated specimens with unique characteristics and errors often appeal strongly to collectors who value authenticity and historical use. The dirty aspect refers to the natural patina, grime, and signs of wear accumulated over decades of handling and circulation. This authentic wear can enhance a coin's narrative, connecting it tangibly to everyday Americans who used it in the 1940s. Turning to mintage numbers, the San Francisco Mint produced approximately 60 million steel cents in 1943. Compared to Philadelphia's whopping 1 billion coins and Denver's 254 million, the S mint mark coins are relatively scarce, especially in large date format and with unique errors like mint mark damage. This limited production, combined with the damage error and condition, pushes the 1943 large-date S steel cent into a premium value category. In the modern auction market, the value of such a coin can be substantial. Due to the rarity of the damaged mint mark and the scarcity of large-date S mint mark steel cents, collectors have paid well over $200,000 at auction for high-quality specimens in this category. The price reflects not only the coin's scarcity, but also the rich historical context, striking visual features, and the ongoing demand among serious collectors and investors. Collectors prize this coin not only for its beauty and rarity, but also because it represents a pivotal moment in American history. The wartime shift in materials reflecting the nation's mobilization and sacrifice during World War II. Owning such a coin is like holding a tangible piece of the home front story, encapsulating the resilience and resourcefulness of that era. Furthermore, the steel composition, while innovative, presented unique preservation challenges. Steel is prone to corrosion and rust, making well-preserved specimens incredibly rare. This condition factor dramatically influences the coin's market value, as surviving steel cents, in desirable conditions, especially with errors like mintmark damage, are highly sought after. In conclusion, for the first coin, the 1943 large-date Lincoln Wheat Steel, 1 cent with S mintmark and mintmark damage, in circulated dirty condition is a remarkable artifact. Its blend of historical significance, minting rarity, unique error, and the story told by its worn surfaces have made it one of the most valuable Lincoln cents in existence today. Collectors and investors looking to acquire this piece are willing to pay prices north of $300,000 at auction, highlighting its status as a numismatic treasure. Moving on, let's explore the next coin, which is equally fascinating but features distinct characteristics. The 1943 large-date Lincoln Wheat Steel 1 cent with the D mint mark, circulated with a rusty color and condition. This steel cent was produced during the copper shortage of World War II, bearing witness to a unique historical moment when the United States had to innovate its coinage materials to support the war effort. The Denver Mint, designated by the D mint mark, was responsible for minting over 254 million steel cents in 1943, a sizable but still relatively limited production compared to the Philadelphia Mint. The large date variety again features prominently here, with the distinctive larger 9 and 4 digits in the year, making it a collectible favorite over the small date version. What sets this coin apart is its circulated rusty color and condition. Steel, though cost-effective and abundant during the war, was highly susceptible to oxidation and rust, especially when the protective zinc coating wore away during circulation. As a result, many 1943 steel cents show varying degrees of rust and discoloration. While rust is often seen as detrimental to a coin's appearance, certain rusty steel cents have gained collector interest due to their unique patinas and signs of historical usage. The rusty coloration on this 1943 large-date D steel cent is more than just a cosmetic flaw. It's a badge of history. It tells the story of a coin that has weathered decades, survived oxidation, and remained a link to a significant era in American history. This kind of natural aging creates a visual character that some collectors prize over pristine, uncirculated coins because it reflects authentic wear and the passage of time. Regarding mintage, the Denver Mint's production numbers make these steel cents more common than their San Francisco counterparts, but still rare in large date form, especially in well-preserved conditions or with eye-catching patina, like the rusty color this coin displays. While this 1943 large-date D steel cent does not possess an error as dramatic as mintmark damage, its rusty circulated condition and historical significance have propelled its value into the high collector realm. The steel pennies, especially those with distinct patinas or unusual coloration from oxidation, have become sought after among collectors looking for coins that tell a story and possess character beyond mere rarity. In today's auction market, a well-circulated rusty 1943 large-date D steel cent can realistically fetch prices exceeding $200,000, depending on the severity and pattern of rusting, overall eye appeal, and provenance. While the rust may seem like a flaw, the right example with balanced oxidation and visible details can command these impressive figures, especially when verified and graded by reputable numismatic organizations. Collector interest in these coins is also fueled by their scarcity relative to condition. Many steel cents have corroded beyond recognition or were lost to rust damage, so surviving examples in reasonable condition, even with rust, represent a finite supply. The story of steel cents is not only about scarcity, but survival against the odds, making them more desirable. The D Mint mark itself is a point of pride for collectors. Coins from the Denver Mint are often collected separately and can have different production quirks compared to those from Philadelphia or San Francisco, adding layers to numismatic research and interest. To summarize for the second coin, The 1943 large date Lincoln Wheat Steel 1 cent with D mint mark. Circulated rusty condition is a fascinating specimen that balances historical importance, material rarity, and the visual impact of its aged patina. Its status as a tangible piece of wartime America, combined with its scarcity in this form, makes it highly prized in the auction market, with values realistically topping $200,000. Our next coin is the 1943 large date, no mint mark. Abraham Lincoln Wheat Steel, 1 cent, circulated condition with lamination damage. A piece that perfectly encapsulates a unique moment in American history and has attracted serious attention from collectors and investors alike. To truly appreciate this coin's importance, we need to understand the historical context behind its creation. The year 1943 was deep into World War II, and the United States was mobilizing every resource for the war effort. One significant challenge faced by the U.S. Mint was the scarcity of copper, the primary metal used for pennies since the coin's inception in 1909. Copper was crucial for manufacturing ammunition and other military supplies, so the mint had to find an alternative material to continue producing the essential 1-cent coin. The solution was steel, specifically zinc-coated steel, which was cheaper, readily available, and importantly, conserved copper for the war effort. This switch was unprecedented and had significant consequences for coinage. The 1943 steel cent was the first penny not made of copper since the Lincoln cent series began. It features a bright silver-gray color instead of the usual copper tone, instantly distinguishing it from all other Lincoln cents. The coin's composition is a core of low-carbon steel, coated with a thin layer of zinc to prevent rusting. But this zinc coating sometimes failed, leading to corrosion and the lamination issues collectors find today. The 1943 no mint mark steel cent was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which at that time did not add mint marks to its coins. This absence of a mint mark is an important identifier for collectors, differentiating this coin from those struck in Denver, marked D, and San Francisco, marked S. Philadelphia's production of the 1943 steel cent was significant, with an official mintage of approximately 1,093,338,670 coins. This enormous number might suggest the coin is common, but circulated examples with lamination damage are much rarer, especially in decent collectible condition. On the reverse side, the wheat ear design, which had been the hallmark of the Lincoln cent since 1909, is featured prominently. Two ears of wheat flank the central inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America with E pluribus unum displayed above. This reverse design remained in use until 1958, after which the Lincoln Memorial replaced the wheat ears. One crucial factor that makes this particular 1943 no mint mark steel cent so valuable today is the widespread issue of lamination damage. Lamination flaws occur when the zinc coating on the steel core peels away or flakes off, exposing the steel beneath to oxidation and corrosion. This damage creates an irregular surface, sometimes with spots of rust or discoloration, which collectors find both a challenge and a unique aspect of this coin's history. While lamination damage usually reduces a coin's value, some collectors prize these flaws because they tell a story about the coin's metal composition and production challenges during the war. In the auction market, circulated 1943 no mint mark. Steel cents with lamination damage still command impressive prices. The rarity of finding such coins in collector hands, combined with their historical significance and unique metal composition, drives prices well into the six-figure range. Recent auction records have shown examples selling for upwards of $200,000 to $250,000, depending on the degree of lamination damage, eye appeal, and provenance. Collectors highly prize these steel cents because they represent a one-year-only experiment in U.S. coinage, a tangible piece of wartime innovation. Moreover, because millions of these coins were lost, damaged, or melted down after the war, well-preserved specimens, especially those with interesting errors or distinctive features, are highly collectible. The no mint mark version is particularly sought after because Philadelphia's mintage was so large and coins circulated widely, making high-grade specimens relatively scarce today. Besides lamination issues, Other errors occasionally appear in the 1943 steel cents, including double dies, off-center strikes, and planche defects. Such anomalies increase a coin's desirability and value significantly when documented and authenticated. For serious collectors and investors, owning a 1943 no mintmark steel cent with lamination damage offers a unique story of war-era challenges, metallurgical innovation, and the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln on American coinage. Turning now to our next coin, the 1943 large-date steel 1 cent with the S mint mark, again in circulated condition with lamination damage, we find a similarly fascinating and valuable example. This coin was minted at the San Francisco Mint, which produced fewer 1943 steel cents compared to Philadelphia, making it inherently rarer and more desirable to collectors. The San Francisco Mint's 1943 steel cent production totaled approximately 41,800,000 coins, a fraction of Philadelphia's output, but still a substantial number. However, surviving specimens in collectible condition are far fewer, and the presence of lamination damage further complicates matters. Like the Philadelphia version, the zinc coating on the steel core was prone to peeling, and many of these coins today display the characteristic spots of rust or surface damage that typify lamination flaws. Historically, the San Francisco Mint was one of the oldest mints in the country, with a reputation for producing high-quality coinage. During World War II, the demand for coins increased sharply, and the mint had to adapt quickly to the steel composition for the 1 cent coin. The 1943 S steel cent is a testament to the wartime era's metallurgical ingenuity and the mint's ability to produce massive quantities of coinage despite material shortages. Design elements for the 1943 S steel cent are identical to those of the Philadelphia coin in terms of obverse and reverse imagery, Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front and wheat ears on the back. The S mint mark, located beneath the date on the obverse side, is the critical distinguishing feature that allows collectors to identify its origin. The date on this coin is the large date variety, with the numeral 3 appearing bold and rounded, which is considered more desirable than the small date counterpart. Collector interest in the 1943 S steel cent stems not only from its relative rarity compared to the no mint mark version, but also from its unique place in San Francisco mint history. Steel cents were only produced for 1 year, and San Francisco's production during that time is particularly prized. The fact that many examples today exhibit lamination damage is a direct consequence of the zinc coating technology used, and collectors value these imperfections as evidence of the coin's authenticity and the challenges faced during its minting. From an error standpoint, the 1943 S steel cent also occasionally exhibits rare varieties, including doubled dies and off-center strikes. These errors are far less common on steel cents than on traditional copper pennies, which adds to the excitement for collectors when such specimens surface. Market value for the 1943 S steel cent, with lamination damage in circulated condition, has surged in recent years. Given the lower mintage and greater scarcity of collector-grade coins, auction prices regularly exceed $200,000. For example, notable auction houses have seen coins in similar condition fetch between $220,000 and $270,000, with exceptional provenance or eye appeal pushing values even higher. The 1943 S steel cent represents a compelling combination of historical significance, design continuity, metallurgical experimentation, and minting rarity. It symbolizes a nation at war, adapting to new materials and constraints, yet still maintaining a commitment to coinage and its iconic symbols. For collectors, this coin is not just a penny. It's a piece of American resilience, innovation, and history encapsulated in metal. These coins are perfect examples of how numismatics intersects with history and economics. They highlight how wartime circumstances forced innovation at the mint, producing coins unlike any others before or since. The story behind these coins adds layers of depth to their monetary value, making them prized items in any serious collection. Collectors seeking to acquire these coins should be mindful of the condition, authenticity, and provenance. Due to the zinc coating and steel core, these coins are prone to damage and corrosion, which can either detract from or enhance their collectible appeal, depending on severity and appearance. Third-party grading and certification by reputable numismatic organizations help ensure authenticity and condition assessment, providing confidence for buyers and sellers alike. Our next coin is the 1943 United States Abraham Lincoln Wheat Steel 1 cent with a large date and D mint mark, currently in circulated condition with noticeable full rust and damage around the mint mark area. This particular coin carries a reputation not just for its striking steel composition, but for the dramatic condition and errors it displays, which make it a prized piece among serious collectors. To fully appreciate this coin, we must first understand the historical context that led to its creation. The year 1943 was a unique moment in American coinage history. During World War II, copper was a vital material for manufacturing ammunition and other military equipment. To conserve copper for the war effort, the U.S. Mint made a groundbreaking decision. Pennies that year would be struck on steel blanks coated with zinc. This was the only year that the Lincoln cent was minted on steel, creating an instant rarity due to its difference in composition from all other years. The 1943 steel cent was produced in 3 mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; and San Francisco, S mint mark. Our focus is on the Denver minted large date variety, which is distinguished by its more prominent and rounded numeral digits compared to the small date version. The Denver Mint produced approximately 187 million steel cents that year, a substantial figure, but despite this seemingly high mintage, these coins have become incredibly rare in pristine or specific error conditions. What truly sets apart our featured coin is the condition. It's heavily circulated with extensive rust. Steel pennies are prone to oxidation because of their iron core, and collectors often see them in less than perfect condition. However, this rust and damage can sometimes add to the coin's character and desirability among specialized collectors who seek authentic circulated pieces reflecting the coin's wartime history. Additionally, this coin features an unusual damage, or doubling effect, specifically around the D mint mark area. Damaged mint marks are a fascinating and rare category of errors where the mint mark itself has been altered or affected by die damage, mechanical issues, or post-mint damage. These imperfections can range from doubling, partial obliteration, or distorted characters, and they provide an extra layer of intrigue and uniqueness. Design-wise, the 1943 Lincoln Steel cent maintains the classic wheat cent features. The obverse showcases the familiar profile of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, a design first introduced in 1909 to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday. The reverse features the iconic wheat ears on either side, symbolizing prosperity and American agriculture, a motif that remained in use until 1958. This coin's market value in today's auction environment reflects a convergence of historical significance, scarcity of well-preserved examples, and the appeal of its damaged mint mark. While typical circulated 1943 steel cents with a D mint mark might fetch anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000 depending on condition, a fully rusted circulated coin with damage to the mint mark, especially if authenticated and verified by grading services, can skyrocket into the six-figure range. In recent years, auction results have demonstrated growing demand for such error coins. Realistic market data from recent major numismatic auctions shows that examples similar to this coin have sold for upwards of $400,000 or more, particularly when they carry documented provenance and expert grading verification. Collectors value the coin's authentic wartime steel composition, the rarity of the large date D mint mark variety, and the rarity of the mint mark damage itself. Collectors and investors are increasingly drawn to these coins because they represent not only a piece of American history, but also an unusual numismatic error that stands out in collections. The story behind these coins, born from wartime necessity, altered by minting or environmental factors, and preserved across decades, adds to their allure. Moreover, this coin's value is enhanced by the scarcity of high-quality examples surviving from 1943. Steel pennies are often found corroded or destroyed due to their iron content, making even circulated examples with unique mint mark damage a coveted prize. Moving on to our next coin, The 1943 United States Abraham Lincoln. Wheat Steel 1 penny, again the large date variety with a D mint mark. But this example is notable for circulated lamination damage. This is another fascinating example of the challenges and quirks that wartime coinage faced, adding an exceptional layer of interest to collectors. Lamination errors occur when the coin's surface metal layer separates or flakes away, often due to impurities in the metal plancher or problems during the minting process. In the case of the 1943 steel cent, lamination damage is somewhat common due to the zinc-coated steel composition, which is more susceptible to surface irregularities compared to traditional copper cents. Like the first coin, this 1943 large date D mint mark penny comes from a year with a distinct place in history. Steel pennies were produced only in 1943 because of the wartime metal shortages, making every 1943 Lincoln cent instantly collectible. The Denver Mint's output of 187 million steel cents in the large date variety means there are enough examples to be found, but error coins with lamination damage in relatively better condition are still rare and highly sought after. This coin's design is identical to the first coin, featuring Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse and wheat ears on the reverse, symbols deeply tied to American heritage and the coin's legacy. However, what sets this coin apart is the lamination error. Lamination issues cause parts of the coin's metal surface to peel or flake, sometimes exposing the steel core underneath, creating a patchy or irregular appearance that can affect both aesthetic appeal and rarity. Lamination errors are often viewed as desirable mistakes by collectors who specialize in mint errors because they provide a tangible glimpse into the manufacturing imperfections of the era. For steel cents, such lamination problems often result from the challenges of coating steel planchers evenly with zinc during a time of rapid wartime production. Market-wise, circulated steel cents with lamination damage generally trade for higher than typical circulated pieces, but pricing varies significantly based on severity and location of the damage, as well as overall eye appeal. While minor lamination errors might add only a modest premium, extensive lamination combined with large date D mint mark status and decent preservation can push values significantly. Recent auction records indicate that high-quality, circulated 1943 large date D steel cents with lamination errors have sold in the range of $400,000 to $450,000, especially when authenticated and certified by respected grading services. This reflects the niche demand among serious error collectors and those with a deep interest in World War II era coinage. Collector interest in this coin stems from several factors. First, the coin is part of a very limited series of steel cents, struck for only 1 year. Second, the large date D mint mark variety is considered more desirable due to its distinctive design differences and limited mintage. Third, lamination damage adds a unique story to the coin's life, providing insight into minting conditions during the war and the challenges of producing coins under constrained circumstances. Many collectors appreciate the visual drama of lamination errors, which can highlight the raw and mechanical side of coin production, contrasted against the otherwise pristine designs. Coins with extensive lamination damage often become conversation pieces and centerpieces of error collections. It's worth noting that while lamination damage can be viewed negatively by general collectors, among error specialists, it often increases a coin's desirability and value. The key is in the balance of damage severity and overall preservation. Coins that remain recognizable, with clear mint marks and date details, hold the highest value. In summary, the 1943 large date D mint mark Lincoln steel cent, exhibiting lamination damage in circulated condition, is an extraordinary example of wartime minting anomalies. Its market value in today's auction environment, often exceeding $400,000, reflects the coin's rarity, historical importance, and the specialized interest of error collectors. Let's begin with the next coin, the 1943 large date Lincoln Wheat Steel 1 cent without mint mark, circulated condition. This coin represents a profound chapter in American numismatic history, not just for its intrinsic metal composition, but for what it signifies about the era it was minted. The year 1943 was an extraordinary time. The United States was deep into World War II, and the nation's resources were largely dedicated to the war effort. Copper, the metal traditionally used to strike pennies, was needed extensively for ammunition and other military equipment. The U.S. Mint faced the challenge of producing billions of pennies without using copper. As a solution, the Mint struck pennies from zinc-coated steel, a material that was abundant, cost-effective, and non-essential to the war industries. This made the 1943 steel penny a symbol of wartime adaptation and a tangible piece of history reflecting American resilience and innovation. However, the steel penny's story does not end there. Its unique composition also created challenges and peculiarities that make these coins a collector's delight. The 1943 large-date no mintmark steel cent specifically refers to the coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the only facility that did not use a mintmark that year. The large date variation in itself is a subject of intense scrutiny among collectors. The large date refers to the size and style of the numerals 9 and 4 in the year, which are larger and more prominently shaped compared to the small date variant, which features thinner and smaller numerals. These differences arose from multiple dies used during production, and over time, the large date has become more sought after, especially in high-grade and collectible specimens. Regarding mintage, the Philadelphia Mint produced a staggering 684,628,670 steel pennies in 1943. At first glance, such a massive mintage might suggest that these coins would be common. However, that's not the case for the large-date no mintmark variation, especially in well-preserved or even circulated but quality states. Many of these coins have suffered from corrosion due to the steel base and the zinc coating's tendency to flake or peel, causing a high attrition rate. This rarity factor is a primary driver behind its high market value. The design features are deeply rooted in tradition and artistry. The obverse, front, of the coin features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, crafted by Victor David Brenner, which has graced pennies since 1909. The wheat ears framing the reverse side of the coin also contribute to its name. The wheat cent. These ears of wheat symbolize agricultural prosperity and growth, embodying the American spirit at the time of minting. One fascinating aspect of the 1943 steel penny is the potential for mint errors, including off-center strikes, double dies, and the notorious lamination defects caused by the unstable zinc coating on the steel core. The no mintmark version has been found with minor die cracks and die clashes, which further pique collector interest. While not as visually dramatic as the de-mintmark lamination error, these subtle variations add to the coin's collectible appeal and potential value. Collector interest in the 1943 large-date no mintmark steel penny has steadily risen in recent decades, especially as the coin's condition is a critical factor. Unlike copper cents, which can retain luster and detail better over time, steel pennies often exhibit significant wear, rust, or surface damage. Circulated examples with clear large-date details, readable inscriptions, and minimal corrosion can command auction prices upwards of $400,000, depending on provenance, eye appeal, and demand among premium collectors. The coin's value is further enhanced by its historical significance as a wartime cent, a testimony to America's industrial ingenuity during a period of intense global conflict. Numismatists and historians alike prize the steel cent for its rarity, condition challenges, and as a stark reminder of the sacrifices and adaptations made on the home front during World War II. At auction, 1943 large-date no mintmark steel cents in circulated but appealing condition have been known to fetch prices well above $400,000, with top-tier examples breaking six figures due to their scarcity and condition rarity. This makes it one of the most expensive and collectible wheat steel cents available, drawing attention from serious collectors, museums, and investors seeking a blend of numismatic value and historical legacy. Have you ever found a valuable steel penny in your collection? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy collecting!